Idaho Sports Talk with Prater and the Ballgame. You just can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. Mike Prater and Johnny Mallory on Sports Radio 95.3 FM and 1350 AM. The Ticket.
Yeah, the sports world lost a big one. Lost a good one. Tony Siragusa passing away earlier this week. Football defensive lineman, broadcaster, obviously the Goose. Had a big personality, so we thought, Prater and myself, let's do a fat guy draft. You know, our favorite fat guys in sports history, and we'll turn it into a draft because it is draft day as far as the NBA is concerned. So, Prater, are you ready for the commissioner?
This is my favorite segment of the year, Ballgame. This is a tribute and a celebration of the fat guys.
And the one commissioner that does not get booed. Please welcome Commissioner John Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Ballgame. I'm going to let you call the coin toss, although I don't believe you've won a single coin toss yet.
It's been a while.
So let's, you ready? Call it in the air.
Tails.
It is tails.
Thank
Johnny Ballgame.
Thank you.
You get the first pick in the Tony Siragusa inaugural Memorial Fat Guys Draft. Who do you have, Johnny?
I'll take George Herman Babe Ruth. I think he's the all-time fat guy. He goes into a room and he's all positive, right? We've seen all the stories with Ruth. Everybody just wanted to be around him. He had to go to the hospital one night and missed a significant amount of games because he ate too many hot dogs and drank too much soda pop. It hospitalized him. That for me is Fat Guy Hall of Fame enshrinement, and he was fun, and he's the babe, and this is out of honor. I think he's the greatest fat guy athlete of all time. Give me the Bambino, guys.
He goes with Babe Ruth to start. All right, Prater, you've got the second pick. Who is your fat guy?
I have a feeling you were going to go with Babe Ruth. I knew it, and he was on my list, but I couldn't say he's number one. My number one guy, and I was trying to get in your head a little bit and do a little gamesmanship. But for me, this is the easiest no-brainer of all no-brainers. The only fat guy deserving of number one in the Prater Fat Guy Hall of Fame, the one and only John Daly. My favorite sport, my favorite athlete, my favorite personality. Now, it's weird because I don't like Diet Coke. I don't like cigarettes. I don't like beer. But I like everything else about John Daly. I like the fact that he does all three of them ad nauseum during a 4-hour golf round and can still go out and shoot a 68 on Thursday and a 93 on Friday. That's my boy, John Daly, my number one draft pick. By the way, I looked how much he weighed when he topped out at his highest weight. The highest I could see him weighing, according to the internet, was 290 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, right. 290 pounds. Look at that belly. He's still 5'11". He's a big boy, 300 plus, and he's playing golf. Love him.
That was before he ate 6 bags of M&Ms out on the course, Prater.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny Ballgame with the third pick in the inaugural Tony Siragusa Memorial Fat Guys Draft. Who you got?
I'm going to go William the Refrigerator Perry. Endorsements, G.I. Joe characters, Big Macs, no teeth, fun. He played offense. He had versatility. He made people around the Bears jealous, I've seen on the documentaries, that this fat rookie guy was coming in and stealing all their endorsements. William the Refrigerator Perry, as far as the NFL goes, I felt was the first fat guy to really commercialize himself and take advantage of, hey, I'm just a lovable fat dude. I got a front tooth missing. I'm on the most popular team, maybe single season in the history of the NFL with the 85 Bears, all those characters on that team. And I remember being a kid watching that team. I didn't very much about football, but I knew who the Fridge was. They made a G.I. Joe character of him. What? He was a backup defensive tackle. He didn't even start on that team. Fridge, I don't know where you are, what you're doing right now. I hope you're still alive. I think he is. But Fridge, Prater, we've lost the Fridge too.
Oh, no, the Fridge is still alive.
Don't kill anybody else.
I do that a lot.
I don't think he was doing well the last time I heard.
Yeah, I think his brother, Michael Dean Perry, we might have lost him. He had a brother. Anyway, the largest I saw Fridge check in at was 335. I'm sure he pushed 4 bills after football. Way more.
Yeah.
But
I read a story that he had checked into a health facility at 435.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
That's a
All right.
side by side.
So I got the Bambino and the Fridge.
All right, Mike Prater, you've got the 4th pick in the Memorial Fat Guy Draft. Who's your fat guy?
I got to go back to one of my favorite fascinations from about 20, 30 years ago. He's not the greatest household name, but everybody knows who he is and what he is and the way he represented it. The fattest quarterback in the history of the National Football League, the fattest quarterback in the history of college football, the one and only Jared Lorenzen, the great, great fat quarterback of all time. This is a dude who weighed 300 pounds as a player. Later on in life, and he has passed away, he weighed over 500 pounds. Jared Lorenzen, a quarterback, the hefty lefty out of Kentucky, tried to dabble with a professional football career. He lived life larger than life itself, and he played quarterback in the National Football League. Jared Lorenzen, rest in peace, my friend. I hope you're finding some peace up there. But the fat, happy lefty quarterback, my number 2 pick, ball game.
Johnny, it sounds like he was on your
I didn't
combine,
think he was in Prater's draft board, so I thought I could get him a little later. But he was number 3 on my list. Jared Lorenzen, the hefty lefty dude, like ate his way out of the league. He couldn't stop eating, and God, he could spin it though. I've heard stories about the cannon that Jared Lorenzen had. Okay, Prater.
All right,
JP.
5th pick in the inaugural Tony Siragusa Memorial Fat Guy Draft. Johnny Ballgame, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Andy Reid. I'll take the first coach, the first non-player off the board. I love Andy Reid. I love that when he wins big games, he'll go to the media and say, God, I just want a cheeseburger. I just want a cheeseburger right now. I would love to sit down and have a cheeseburger and fries with Andy Reid and talk a little bit of football. I've seen him pushing about 290, it says, but he's probably 3 Bills certain years. Or former BYU Cougar, obviously. He's fun and he's a hell of a player. He's a coach, play caller. He's going into the Hall of Fame probably as soon as he calls it quits. And if I'm going to have my all-favorite fat guy team, I got Babe Ruth, I got the Fridge, and I got Andy Reid. That's going to be a fun night.
All right, Prater, we're up to pick number 6. Who is your fat guy?
I don't know if I'm panicking here, but I'm going to change my strategy. I'm going to table somebody that I had slotted for this round because I have this sneaking suspicion, and I could be 1,000% wrong, but I'm going to go with my 3rd round pick, Eric Esch, otherwise known as Butterbean, the famous boxer of all time. And the reason why I'm picking Butterbean, Mr. Eric Esch, is because there's a personal anecdote here. I spent an entire day with Butterbean. He came here in October of 1997 to fight on the undercard of a Floyd Mayweather fight. I worked with the camp and got myself embedded into the camp. I reported to the team hotel at 8 in the morning, and I didn't leave his side until midnight that night, including the locker rooms before and during and after the fight. He was one of the greatest personalities that I've ever been around. I enjoyed him. He was that same exact way in real life that he was out there. You remember the red, white, and blue shorts and the big giant belly out there. Butterbean, oh, you were such a fun boxer. At one point, I thought I wanted to go, and I'll throw this name out there because I'm not going to draft him. I tried to debate between Butterbean and Buster Douglas, who has been a member, who has been a guest on this show and hung out with us before. But I went with Butterbean over Buster Douglas just because I think he's going to be a better fat guy partier. Butterbean, you're my 3rd round pick.
All right, Johnny, 7th pick in the inaugural Tony Siragusa Memorial Fat Guy Draft. Your pick is?
I'm going to go John Madden.
Yeah. 2 coaches back to back.
I'm going to go John Madden, more of an analyst for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's maybe not a bigger football icon. I don't know anybody who loves football more than John Madden, not even myself. And he's kind of a lovable fat guy up there in the booth. I mean, he'd go up there, probably see him. He probably had a mustard stain on his shirt somewhere from the hot dog he ate at the media meal before he went on the air, probably, And I just the video game, all the sayings, what he did, what he meant to me growing up. He was one of my favorite fat guys of all time. But John Madden, not team ball game.
All right, Mike Prater, pick number 8. Who's your fat guy?
I have Rex Ryan as my coach, but I'm not going to go with him. I think Rex Ryan would be fun. He might be a nice little coach.
He's fat as hell, too.
Exactly. I caught him at 350 pounds at one point. I am moving on to I'm trying to decide between one of 2 baseball players. One of them is, they're both kind of pudgy. I don't know if either one of them are fat. Let's go. I'm going to try to make some karma here. So let's go with Fernando Valenzuela.
Okay, there you go.
I hate the Dodgers. I despise the Dodgers. If the Dodgers stopped being an organization today, I would throw a party for the rest of my life. There is one Dodger that I love, and I got caught up in Fernando mania just like the rest of the country did way back in the day. I love that big gut. I love the way he delivered the baseball. You old-timers know exactly what I'm talking about. Fernando mania took control of this country like no other sporting event for a long, long time around here. It was a beautiful thing as a young kid in Idaho. It was very inspiring to watch. So I'm going to go out there and try to get a little karma back in my corner and give some love to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Fernando Valenzuela, who, by the way, is still alive and still married to his original wife from the 1980s.
Wow.
Fernando Valenzuela, you're the man.
All right, we're going to do one more. Johnny Ballgame. This is your last pick in the inaugural Tony Siragusa Memorial Fat Guy Draft. Make it a good one.
Well, I was nervous about this. I'm going to say Andre the Giant. But does he qualify? He's big, man. Was he fat? I don't know if he was. And I love everything about Andre the Giant. I was a huge wrestling fan. I've seen all the documentaries on his life. I think it is fascinating. We've had wrestlers on this show talking about when Andre the Giant would cut the cheese, how loud and obnoxious. And I don't know. But that was the guy that came to my mind. Andre the Giant. I'll just stick with it, Prater. Go to Princess Bride, Andre the Giant. He was fat at that point in his life.
We'll give that to
before
you.
he died.
We'll give that to
but,
you.
The eighth wonder of the world.
All right, Mike Prater, your final pick. Who is your fat guy?
The most scary, intimidating human being that I ever watched on television as a kid. JP, you may remember this. Anybody that's my age, 45, 50, 60 years old, 70 years old, you remember this guy, the gold medalist from 1972, the gold medalist from 1976, the Sports Illustrated cover boy in 1975, the world's strongest man. I'm talking about not Russian weightlifter. I'm talking about Soviet Union, USSR, the big, giant weightlifter, Daly Alexiev. Anybody that remembers watching the Olympics back in those days, he was the man. He was a beast. He was huge. He wore that wrestling singlet with his guts sticking so far out. It was disgusting. But he was literally the most, he would get up there. And that's back in the day when we were scared that the Russians and the Soviets were going to nuke the entire country. And I thought he was going to push the button when I was a little kid. I thought he was so intimidating. And when he shows up at Munich and lifts more weight than I could ever possibly imagine, and then repeats as the gold medal champion, and then shows up on the Sports Illustrated cover as the world's strongest man. You old timers know exactly what I'm talking about. Daly Alexiev, the world's strongest man. You passed about 10 years ago, but you lived a wonderful life in the Soviet Union, then becomes Russia. I love the big Russian bear. I love me some Russian weightlifters ball game.
Cool, man. I like it, dude.
All right.
And in honor of Tony Siragusa, I think the Goose, he would have appreciated that
Yeah,
segment.
I think so.
The guys that I left off my list, I'm curious as to who you had. I had Tony Gwynn, Pudgy, Rex Ryan, Sebastian Janikowski,
Good one.
Buster Douglas. Trivia question, my friend. It's an official NFL record. Who's the fattest man to ever play in the NFL? I should say
Gilbert Brown.
The heaviest man to ever play in the
Gilbert
NFL.
Brown, Green Bay Packers.
410 pounds. Aaron Gibson.
Yeah. Gilbert Brown was a big one, too.
And when he showed up, by the way, when he showed up in college, or when he showed up in the NFL at 410 pounds, he had lost 30 pounds from high school. He was 440 pounds in high school.
I wanted to draft Sean Kemp, not the Rain Man. Remember when Sean Kemp just blew up in the last 6 years of his NBA career? He was just a fat guy. I wanted to have Sean Kemp. I had George Foreman in my combine, and he was a fun, lovable, fat guy, boxer. That's kind of where I was going. And I thought about a Buster, too. But, I had pretty much everybody else on my list. The one that I really wanted to be a part of my team was the hefty lefty, Lorenzen. I was a big fan of his career. Good stuff, guys. That's the fun segment. That's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. JP, about the Idaho Central Arena hosting a soccer friendly. I think this one's going to be a massive situation. JP, we got the details. We come back on Prater in the Ballgame.
You're listening to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame on Sports Radio 95.3 FM and